former President Donald Trump has issued a powerful defense of the Second Amendment, a cornerstone of American liberty and a fundamental right that has been fiercely debated for decades. In a bold and decisive move, he signed an executive order targeting President Biden's restrictive gun control measures, which infringe upon the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. This executive order is not just a piece of paper. It represents a significant pushback against what Trump and his supporters see as an overreach by the Biden administration. It seeks to dismantle the government's assault on our fundamental right to bear arms, a right that many Americans hold dear. Trump's order is a clear signal to his supporters and to the nation at large that the fight for gun rights is far from over. It is a rallying cry for those who believe in the sanctity of the Second Amendment and are willing to stand up against any attempts to undermine it. This executive order is seen as a victory for freedom-loving Americans everywhere. It is a reaffirmation of their belief that the right to self-defense is paramount, and that any attempt to curtail this right is an affront to their personal freedoms. The order recognizes that the right to self-defense is not just a legal issue, but a deeply personal one. It acknowledges that individuals have the inherent right to protect themselves, their families, and their freedoms. Gun ownership, according to Trump and his supporters, is not a privilege bestowed by the government. It is an inherent right enshrined in the Constitution, a right that predates the founding of the nation and is integral to the American way of life. The Second Amendment is a critical part of the U.S. Constitution. It is a safeguard against tyranny and a guarantee that the government cannot infringe upon the personal liberties of its citizens. The Biden administration's gun control agenda was a blatant attack on this right. It was seen as an attempt to disarm law-abiding citizens while doing little to address the root causes of gun violence. Their policies were designed to disarm law-abiding citizens while doing nothing to stop criminals who obtain their weapons illegally. This leaves honest citizens vulnerable and unable to defend themselves. Trump's executive order is a crucial step towards restoring our Second Amendment freedoms. It is a declaration that the right to bear arms will not be infringed upon without a fight. This is not just about guns. It's about liberty. It's about the fundamental freedoms that define the American experience and the belief that these freedoms must be protected at all costs. The Second Amendment is the cornerstone of a free society. It is a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who fought for our independence and a guarantee that we will remain free. It guarantees all other rights. Without the ability to defend ourselves, all other freedoms are at risk. The right to free speech, the right to assemble, and the right to practice our religion all depend on the ability to protect ourselves from tyranny. When the government has the power to disarm its citizens, it has the power to control every aspect of their lives. This is a slippery slope that Trump and his supporters are determined to avoid. Trump's executive order is a powerful reminder that we the people will not surrender our freedom without a fight. It is a call to action for all Americans to stand up for their rights and to ensure that the Second Amendment remains a vital part of our national identity. Trump's executive order is a multi-pronged attack on the government's gun control overreach. This executive order is not just a simple directive, it is a comprehensive strategy aimed at reversing the restrictive measures put in place by the Biden administration. It directs federal agencies to review and potentially overturn a slew of restrictive gun laws. These laws, which many argue infringe upon the constitutional rights of American citizens, are now under intense scrutiny. This includes regulations on so-called ghost guns, expanded background checks, and other measures that have been criticized for being overly restrictive and burdensome to law-abiding citizens, and stricter oversight of gun dealers. The Trump administration believes that these regulations have done more harm than good, stifling the rights of responsible gun owners while failing to address the root causes of gun violence. Attorney General Pam Bondi will spearhead this crucial effort. Bondi, who has a rather checkered past when it comes to the Second Amendment, will hopefully follow this directive. She will play a pivotal role in reviewing Biden's gun control measures and identifying those that violate the Second Amendment. The Trump administration is confident that Bondi's leadership will be instrumental in restoring the rights that have been eroded under Biden's policies. This executive order sends a clear message. The Trump administration is serious about restoring our Second Amendment freedoms. This is not just about rolling back regulations. It's about reaffirming the fundamental rights of American citizens. The administration is committed to ensuring that the rights of gun owners are protected and that any laws infringing upon these rights are challenged and overturned. Under Bondi's leadership, the Justice Department will work to roll back Biden's unconstitutional gun control measures and protect the rights of law-abiding gun owners. This effort will involve a thorough review of existing laws and regulations, as well as the development of new policies that respect the Second Amendment and protect the rights of law-abiding gun owners. The Trump administration believes that responsible gun ownership is a cornerstone of American freedom, and that these rights must be preserved at all costs. This is a critical first step in dismantling the government's gun control legacy. The executive order sets the stage for a broader effort to restore the rights of gun owners and to challenge any laws that infringe upon these rights. It is a clear signal that the Trump administration will not tolerate any infringement on our Second Amendment rights. The administration is committed to ensuring that the rights of gun owners are protected and that any laws infringing upon these rights are challenged and overturned. The Second Amendment is not about hunting or sport shooting. It is about the fundamental right to self-defense. Our founding fathers recognized that a well-armed citizenry is the best defense against tyranny. They knew that a government that can disarm its citizens is a government that can control its citizens. The Second Amendment is the bulwark against government overreach. It is the guarantee that the people will always have the means to defend themselves against oppression. Today, this right is under attack like never before. Anti-gun politicians and activists are relentless in their pursuit of gun control. They exploit tragedies to push their agenda. Their ultimate goal is clear: the complete disarmament of the American people. Trump's executive order is a powerful rebuke to these anti-gun forces. It reaffirms the importance of the Second Amendment and sends a clear message: the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Section 4. A constitutional showdown, the coming legal battles. This is a pivotal moment in our nation's history where the very essence of our constitutional rights is at stake. Trump's executive order is just the opening salvo in what promises to be a protracted legal battle. This executive order is not just a piece of paper. It is a declaration of intent, a signal that the administration is ready to fight for the Second Amendment. Gun control groups have already vowed to challenge the order in court. These groups are well-funded and well-organized, and they are prepared to use every resource at their disposal to fight this battle. However, they have recently lost a large portion of their funding due to another of Trump's executive orders. Trump cut off all federal funding of anti-gun groups, leaving them in shambles. The left will stop at nothing to advance their gun control agenda. They will file lawsuits, seek injunctions, and tie up the courts in endless litigation. Their goal is to wear down the opposition and create a legal quagmire, but they will not prevail. The Constitution is a powerful document, and it is on our side. It is a beacon of hope and a shield against tyranny. The Constitution is clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is not just a legal principle, it is a fundamental right that has been upheld time and again by the courts. The Second Amendment is not open to interpretation. It is a clear and unequivocal statement of our rights as citizens. It is the supreme law of the land. The courts have a duty to uphold this law, and they must not be swayed by political pressure or public opinion. The courts must uphold the Constitution. They must stand firm in the face of challenges and ensure that our rights are protected. Section 5, a nation divided, the voices of support and opposition. Trump's executive order has ignited a firestorm of controversy. Gun rights advocates are praising the move as a victory for freedom. Gun control groups are condemning it as an assault on public safety. The National Rifle Association, NRA, applauded Trump's executive order, calling it a critical step in the right direction. The NRA vowed to continue fighting to protect the Second Amendment rights of all law-abiding Americans. On the other side of the debate, The Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence denounced Trump's executive order as reckless and dangerous. The group accused Trump of putting the interests of the gun lobby ahead of the safety of the American people. This is a debate that will not be settled anytime soon. It is a fundamental disagreement about the role of government and the rights of individuals. Section 6. The future of freedom. The stakes have never been higher. The battle over gun rights is more than just a policy debate. It is a battle for the soul of America. It is a battle between those who believe in individual liberty and those who believe in government control. The stakes have never been higher. Gun control is not ever about the gun, it is always about control. If the anti-gunners succeed in their quest to disarm the American people, it will be a devastating blow to freedom. It will set a dangerous precedent that will embolden the government to erode other fundamental rights. We cannot allow this to happen. We must stand firm in defense of our Second Amendment rights. We must elect pro-gun leaders who will fight to protect our freedoms. And we must never surrender our right to self-defense. The future of freedom is in our hands. In conclusion, the Constitution does not give the government the power to regulate firearms in any way. In fact, the Constitution strictly forbids any restriction on the right to keep and bear arms. Any and all gun control is unconstitutional. Shall not be infringed means exactly that. No permits or permission slips, no limits or bans on types of weapons due to fire rate or magazine capacity, no restrictions on what, who, where, or how you carry any weapon. Arms means arms. This is a fundamental right. The Founding Fathers intended for the citizens to be at all times armed. Anything that the government or the standing army can have is constitutionally legal for the citizens to own. Government did not grant us our rights and cannot restrict them. This executive order is definitely a step in the right direction. I will not follow or respect any law that restricts any of my rights. My rights are not up for debate or negotiation. Stay frosty, my friends. Keep your head down and your powder dry.